The relationship between a PhD student and their supervision package is one of the most important relationships for an early career academic. But what do we do when that relationship breaks down? Welcome back everyone, my name is Dr. Fido and on behalf of iProgress, today we're going to be giving you the 4 top tips for how to deal with the relationship breakdown between a PhD student and their supervision package. But before we jump into that content, as always, make sure to leave a like on the video, subscribe to the YouTube channel, and let us know down below what your experiences have been with your supervision package. Have they been positive or have they been negative? Has it impacted your studies in any way? So I think it's fair to say that all supervisors actively take on PhD students because they want to do their very best for that student. They want to help that student grow. They want to help that student succeed. However, sometimes that relationship does break down and it does need to undergo mediation. There's many reasons why a relationship between a PhD student and their supervision package might break down. Perhaps that supervisor might be heavily workloaded. They might have taken on 1 or 2 too many PhD students, and as such, it's becoming difficult for them to tease apart their responsibilities and dedicate enough time to a particular student. Perhaps there's an ideological clash going on between the student and their package which can't be overcome. And perhaps either or parties are undergoing external stresses and strains and they're not communicating effectively, and as such it's coming across as if one of those parties is being disengaged in the process. I think there's lots to be said about being open and honest, and in my opinion this relationship is one of the best relationships you can have in academia. Not only are you helping a student grow, but you're forming a very firm bond around a topic which you both love, and hopefully in the future that can blossom into friendships, networks and collaborations. So let's jump into the 4 top tips on how to mediate this relationship breakdown. The first one is almost a safeguarding one for you as a PhD student. And what I mean by this is I would like you to proactively try and evidence that you are doing everything that you can in your power to fulfill your contractual obligations to this partnership. Be proactive in booking meetings with your supervision package, keep logs of the times that you have emailed or met with your supervision package, and make sure you're going to them with a substantial body of work if that's in your remit to do so. You might be stuck on something which is actively stopping you from producing that work. Hopefully in your university or institution, there will be some sort of online logging system that can keep track of the meetings, the work which is being sent to and from parties, and as such that can be collated into a body of evidence for you. The reason I say this is that hopefully before we get to any need at all to lodge any formal complaints, there is going to be scope for mediation between both parties. However, in the small instances where this is not possible, it is vitally important for a PhD student to be able to evidence that they have done everything in their power to support this relationship. And so as not to create too much additional work for the PhD student, it is actually likely that a lot of this information that you will be collating will be required for annual reports or biannual reports later on in the academic year. Hopefully, your PhD supervisor and or the wider package will be responsive to this hard and excellent and great work that you're putting across, and it will kickstart or reignite their part of their relationship obligation. Going back to what I was saying earlier, sometimes this perceived disengagement could literally be the fact that these individuals are undergoing external strains and stresses in the workplace or in their wider family commitments. So do make sure you're allocating enough space to allow them that second chance. My second tip is to have quite frank discussions with your supervisors, other PhD students, or your wider PhD peer network within your institution. What this will allow you to do is assess whether other individuals, other students are having similar experiences with your or their PhD supervisors. This is vitally important. It allows you to see whether it is you as an individual that perhaps is undergoing this relationship breakdown, or whether there's something fundamental about the supervisor, the PhD package as a whole, or hopefully not, the institution as a whole, which means that PhD students aren't getting the very best treatment on their programs. As a whole, I would actually say it's healthy to be having these communications and these conversations with your peers. If nothing else, it will help to socialize you, help you feel as part of the community within that institution, and allow you valuable insights from everyone else's supervision packages, which will make you a more well-rounded individual and researcher. Now that you've gathered all of this additional information, hopefully you'll have a better insight about what might be one of the underpinning causes or contributors towards this relationship breakdown. And this is where we need to be brave with tip 3 of having a frank conversation with your PhD supervisor. Your PhD supervisor is somebody that you should be able to go to with educational, academic, pastoral needs. And as such, they should be in an excellent position to be able to hear you, act as a soundboard, and then engage you in a full academic conversation about your needs. My advice here would be to try and tender this negotiation, this conversation with maturity. Be brave and honest about what you're feeling, what you're experiencing, and what you need. It might be that your supervisor isn't recognizing that there's something that you need that they aren't providing. Likewise, there might be a fundamental misunderstanding between both parties, which is contributing to the breakdown of this relationship. And as such, hopefully a conversation such as this will be beneficial. One of the key worries about having this conversation is potential backlash, how your supervisor might perceive you, how they might treat you differently afterwards. But what I want to say here, and I think this is vitally important, is that if your supervisor is not meaning to be treating you in a detrimental way, if they're not meaning to be delaying the work and feedback that they're giving to you, then the outcome of this conversation should be nothing but positive. And that will really act as a firm benchmark as we lead into tip 4. Tip 4 should be your last resort in contacting the PhD lead of your college or wider institution. Every university should have an individual who takes stock and ownership of the quality of supervision that PhD students have. It is their responsibility to manage, organize, and have discussions with PhD supervisors and the wider package. And they'll be able to advise whether other students have been having similar disputes or experiences. Ultimately, it is their responsibility to manage this and help you to succeed. And they have lots of tools at their disposal which can facilitate that, one of which might be moving you to a different supervision package. The take-home message from this video is that there are lots of individuals within your organization who are available for you to reach out to. I realize that the PhD experience can in some instances be isolating, but it is not your responsibility solely to make sure that this relationship is managed and mediated. There are people who are actively paid to help support this process, so please do reach out to them. Make sure you're keeping strong relationships with your peers and networks within your PhD community. And ultimately remember that as long as you are doing as much and hard work as possible, as long as you're being open with your communications about what you need, you are fulfilling your role. I hope that it never comes that you have to move supervision packages, but what I would say is that I've seen students undergo this process before. It's never the nicest thing to see. However, I have never actively myself seen this detriment the success of a student. I've only seen those students thrive from having this reignition of having new supporters in their corner. It is not a sign of failure, and it is not a detriment to you as an early career academic. Though this is a very niche video aimed at what I really do hope is a very small number of PhD students and early career academics, I do hope that the people that need it find some comfort in knowing that people have experienced what they are currently experiencing, and also that there are safeguards in place to really help to absolve their situations. So if you find this video helpful, make sure to leave a like, comment down below what your experiences have been with supervision, and before you leave, make sure to subscribe to the channel. It really does help us out. I've been Dean for my progress, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.